And that's, it's like people have we talked about the orcas versus sharks last week, and just, orcas are smart, they plan, they team up, that kind of stuff.
They're vicious.
And sharks sometimes, sharks will school, but they've got a fish brain. They're not. There's not a centralized intelligence in there. It's like stimulus response, and it just it kind of irks me, not because like conservationists, their mission is good, but whenever they try to personify sharks, like whether they're good or bad, but it's like, oh, the shark doesn't mean to. It's not thinking of this. And it's like, dude, okay, the way your voice is coming out, you sound to me like warm teddy bears, which bears are vicious as shit too.
Oh, yeah.
Right? But, they're not all sweet and cuddly, and they're not thinking, and you just have a rogue shark that just decides to just go murder one day. Like, they are fish. Yeah. And you can see your tropical fish in your tank, and they're all just swimming around all peacefully, and then you drop some food in there, and they go all ape shit and attack each other while they're trying to get the food. Yeah. It's not because they have a soul, and they've just decided to act crazy. It's like
they're programmed.
That's what they are.
Yeah, the instinct kicks in. Like, Namis are here. This is what I need to live. It's time to get the Nami.
This is what we do.
Right.
And so, like, either way, it's like, oh, it's evil. I do think there are, there's sharks like bears. If they get a taste of human flesh and then they lose their fear of humans, then they are more dangerous than bears that are just hanging out.
Yeah. Right. And they have cunning. I mean, they've developed certain hunting capabilities in certain areas. But at the end of the day, it's this large toothed creature with a head like a V8 engine and the brain the size of a softball.
Yep.
That's on time to live mode.
Yeah,
and
you
just happen to be the thing on the menu. It may decide it likes how you taste and eat you more. May decide it doesn't enjoy the taste and leave you with just bites.
Name you.
Yeah.
well, yeah. They might. That's another thing is they might not mean like they might just be testing you out. But
which happens, you get the surfer with a bite out of their side. It was just you look like a seal from swimming underneath. They took a bite and they went, "What the fuck is that?"
Yeah.
And then they decide, "I don't want to eat that shit."
But it's crazy how it's like, oh, they didn't mean to. Like, dude, they'll eat garbage cans.
It meant to bite you.
That guy meant
It didn't plan on in the morning going, I can't wait until this surfer gets in the water so I can fucking bite him. What it said was, look at that food over there. I think I'll take a bite.
Yeah.
I'm hungry.
That looks like something.
Yeah, that looks like something I could eat.
All right, we will expand on this idea here shortly. Welcome, everybody, to episode 179 of the Scary Dad podcast. It seems as if since we restarted it, we're just inching closer and closer to episode 200. So, that's pretty rad, considering we would have been long past that if we had just kept going 2 years ago. But whatever.
Short hiatus.
It's June 19th, 2023, and the subject of today's show is body horror.
One thing with it being June 19th is just, it was the day after Father's Day. Actually, we're actually not Father's Day right now where we're recording, but I could talk about this since I got an early gift from my son. Okay, so my story with Shogun Godzilla. Mm-hmm. You might not know it. A lot of people listening to the show know it, and my son especially knows it. But my dad died when I was 9 years old. The last Christmas gift I remember him giving me was Shogun Godzilla. And I remember it very, very well because I broke his bedroom window with the hand and never said shit. Never said a word. Me and my cousin broke the window with that hand, and my cousin now lives next door to the house I grew up in. And several years ago, I went and looked, and that window's still broken to this day.
Oh, wow.
And never told me.
I was going to say, are you going to go break it again?
But anyway, we went to Misfits to drop off some flyers the other day, and there was a Shogun Godzilla sitting up there. So I went, checked it out. Everything was working. Tongue still works. Spring is still very strong. Could still break a window. So I told Cody, I said, hey, Cody, you guys do layaway, right? I've been looking for one for a while. It's been a grail of mine since I started collecting toys again, but they're expensive as fuck. So he was like, yeah, we do layaway. I said, okay, I'm probably going to go ahead before I leave. I'll get that put on layaway. I just want to make sure you hold it, don't sell it. I'll pick it up in a couple of months. So I talked to Darius and Cody, and we were walking around, and me and the kids were looking at shit. Well, apparently, unbeknownst to me, while I was preoccupied, Noah bought it for me.
Wow.
And I went to leave, and Cody says, here you go. And I was like, what are you talking about? And Noah's just there smiling, and he goes, Happy Father's Day. I know how much that means to you.
Wow.
And my son bought me my Shogun Godzilla for Father's Day, which was pretty fucking awesome.
That's
pretty great.
Awesome, dude.
Great.
That is awesome. We talked because I had Shogun Godzilla too.
Mhm.
I think everybody had that one, like something like because Godzilla was popular, but
Yeah,
I
it was
had
huge.
it, and I don't know what ended up happening to him. Like he got growing up and toys get lost. And I know it's a common error that he's got the little trigger on the back that spits his tongue.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I had him for maybe all of 2 minutes and snapped that.
You broke the latch.
that little latch
trigger?
off.
Yeah.
And it was annoying as hell because then I wanted to spit his tongue out and I had to like dig my fingernail. But yeah, I remember you telling me like, oh yeah, I had that. It was my best things ever. I'm like, yeah, I had
the
it.
best son in the world hooked
Dude.
me up this week. So
That's pretty
Shout
great.
out to Noah, dude. That's badass.
yeah. And another good thing, we have a guest today. Right? And so this morning, every morning I check out Facebook memories to see what's going on. And apparently 6 years ago today, to this day, I got a message. I saw somebody post on Facebook saying they were looking for a chainsaw. And I happened to, I used to repair shit all the time. And I had a chainsaw that I had been trying to fix for months, and it was a hopeless case. So I wrote to the dude, and we ended up meeting 6 years ago this day.
Wow.
We met in the parking lot at Academy so he could pick up that fucking chainsaw.
So you get a chainsaw.
And, he
It's
is
not
now,
shady at all.
6 years later, he's our guest on our podcast. Everybody welcome Mr. Alex.
Yay!
Welcome.
God, I love that saw. It's so heavy. I carried that sucker around.
Look at the face of him. Look at the joy in him having that damn chainsaw.
I remember that picture too. That is awesome.
Because they popped up in my memories today. I thought that was pretty cool.
That is so cool.
That's fortuitous. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty great.
Well, welcome back, Boom. We always love having you on here.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I love to talk.
Especially horror.
Oh yeah, no, that's my love. That's my baby.
Well, June 19th, episode 179. Today we're going to talk about body horror, and but we're going to start off with a little bit of Mr. Gomez, please.
First, the old business.
All right, so this is recent old business, but it happened last week, right after we recorded this show for last week's episode on shark attacks. So we recorded the episode on Tuesday. It came out on this Monday. On Thursday of last week, on the other side of the world, it was probably the most well documented video of a person being attacked and killed by a shark off the beach. Happened to a Russian citizen vacationing in Egypt near the Red Sea. And if you haven't seen it, it is very graphic. It is very horrifying to see. I mean, it is just camera phone footage from somebody on the beach watching this poor guy go from swimming to the shark basically picks him apart for about 20-30 seconds before finally taking him under. 23-year-old Vladimir Popov, killed in a scene pretty much, I mean, it looks pretty much very similar to the Alex Kittner scene in Jaws.
Yeah.
Where he's just there and the shark comes and gets him and everybody flips out and runs away. And then in strange follow-up to this story, so the shark is playing with and kind of just hanging around the body of the dead man. And they finally get out there and they net it and bring it to shore, where it is subsequently beaten to death by angry beachgoers who just
frontier justice.
Frontier justice who just watched the shark kill this poor guy. So and that's strange, but it's not completely unexpected. What is a little bit weird is that they are taking the shark now that they've removed the man's remains from the body of the shark, they're actually embalming and mummifying the shark to be put on display at what is essentially Egypt's equivalent to the Smithsonian.
Way to just perpetuate stereotypes. We're just gonna mummify something else.
So, I don't know, man. There might be more to this story, but it's recent old business, but it was pertinent. Like we're doing the whole summer shark and craziness, and right after we record, this happened. So, and it's a horror podcast. We talk about horrifying things. That's pretty messed up.
That's pretty horrific.
I mean, like 1, 2, 3, like weird, and horrible all the way around. So,
To be fair, on the lighter side of things, in that video, there's some very calming music during the shark attack, which is really sets the mood for the tragedy.
You they were having a very relaxing day on the beach.
That's so messed up. Dude.
Oh yeah.
And if you go on Reddit, where people were coming like, what to the music? They thought the person like posting the video had like TikToked it.
They thought Rob Zombie did the score for
Yeah.
it.
Who would do
totally
this?
Ironic things.
Who would put this kind of music to this? And it's like, no, that's what was playing. That's like people just chilling on the beach.
Right.
That's what they saw. It's like a symphonic version of Stand By Me. It's like,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, it's definitely original.
All right, well, getting into the lighter side of the old business before we get into the body horror side of things, which is the subject of today's show. We're just, black and white and left and right and all kinds of opposites today. Right?
Yeah.
All right, so June 19th. We're going in the Wayback Machine. I think I tried to look at a couple of June 19th is not a very eventful day in pop culture, but on this day in 1993,
Ooh.
so 30 years ago today, the #1 movie in America. There's conflicting reports that it was either Cliffhanger with Sylvester Stallone,
Mm-hmm, of course, yeah.
or Jurassic Park, which had only been released a couple days before.
I would put money. Jurassic Park cleaned
blew it
absolute
away, yeah.
house for a long time. Granted,
Yeah.
John Lithgow doing the villain in Cliffhanger gets more money from me, but
Yeah, that
the
was
general
scary.
consensus was
Jurassic
Jurassic Park. Yeah.
Criminal though. What he did with what's his name?
With Denzel
Denzel
Washington.
That
Yeah,
was
bro.
pretty badass,
He was
yeah.
absolutely beautiful as a psychotic.
Oh, you also saw the second season of Dexter.
Yes. Or was it second or third?
It was
Where he was the Trinity killer.
Yeah. And he was just... John Lithgow is one of my favorite.
He's an amazing
actors.
actor. I mean, if you
Amazing.
look at the roles that he's done, and he's an actor. It's not like I always talk about Tom Cruise, where it's Tom Cruise as a race car driver or Tom Cruise as a spy. It's
Correct.
the same person he's done. John Lithgow, he fucking acts.
Oh, yeah.
If one of the early movies I remember seeing him with is World According to Garp, where he
Mhm.
played a retired NFL linebacker who was a transgender. It was just amazing.
Right.
His range with being hilarious, being
I think-
serious, being scary.
I think the only thing, and this happens to some actors, the only thing that held John Lithgow back from really getting into that upper echelon of acting is he's like Tim Robbins, he's so tall, right? He's such a specific size,
Mhm.
and it becomes difficult to really meld into a varying, very character roles like a Gary Oldman or a Daniel Day-Lewis, because he sticks out so much being as big as he is.
Well, and I would say that he's probably, because he's gone back and forth, and he's an author, but he was in both comedic roles like Harry and the Hendersons.
Oh, and then very serious
and then
roles,
very
yeah.
serious
Oh, yeah.
and villainous roles. And then he did Third Rock,
Yeah.
which you keep saying to this day is one of my favorite sitcoms ever. That show, we watched it within the last year, the whole series,
Right.
and it holds up because the jokes are humanity jokes.
Right.
They're not like current event jokes.
Right.
They're not foibles with modern technology jokes. It's like people are strange, and we're attempting to fit in with people, but they do these weird things,
right?
And it's hard for us to blend because the things we're trying to blend in with are so strange.
Right.
So they run over the top or way underneath what people really are. And John Lithgow carries that show.
Oh, he's amazing.
It's a great ensemble, but he is just like his presence is just so wacky.
What Third Rock always reminded me of was if somebody sat down and attempt to write a full satire, full series for the Coneheads, and we're going to make them look less alien and make them fit in physically, but we're going to keep that bit. They're trying to fit in, but they don't understand what's going on, so they're kind of making it up as they go along. Yeah, no, it's beautiful. It's a funny show.
It was awesome. So yeah, John Lithgow is always in my upper echelon of
But if I had to put money down on early opening Jurassic Park versus
that's the thing is on this date Jurassic Park hadn't come out nationwide yet, so it was.
I don't know, man.
But 90s, pre-sold tickets, I don't know.
It's hard to tell.
Either way, it got knocked off the next week.
No. Once if it was only unlimited release at that point, that's the only chance Cliffhanger had. Stallone was still riding super high on a lot of really big things walking into '93. But no, the dinosaurs came out and just started eating everything on the plate.
Dinosaurs are so. Meg and I went and saw that 20th anniversary re-release in the theaters, and not only did the CGI, we talked about CGI last week, Jurassic Park CGI from 1993. They didn't George Lucas it. They didn't retouch it. It was the movie you saw in '93. It held up.
Oh no, it's clean.
All of the scary scenes were just as scary. And we had little kids in the audience with us that had never seen it before, that jumped at all the right places and screamed, and all of the tense moments. So you're watching it from yourself, but you know what's coming. Kind of like we used to do Fresh Eyes with the movies, Yeah. It's like you'd watch it and you knew it was coming, but you're just watching it on a big screen, but you're seeing it fresh eyes through these little kids. And it was just amazing.
But you know what?
Such a great film.
You know what I've always thought helped Jurassic Park when it gets dark, when it gets really, really scary, is lighting. Because everything either takes inside a place where the electricity is out or outside where a storm is brewing. Mm-hmm. So lighting is so good. There's so many shadows and so ways you can just hide stuff.
Yeah, they cheated a lot of it very well and left a lot of that to your imagination. Like what's coming, what is that? Bush's shape.
I think the shark not working in Jaws
was the best thing to happen to the movie.
The best thing to happen to Spielberg.
Oh, 100%.
Because if it had worked,
we would have seen the shark more.
We'd have seen the shark more, and when that reception for Jaws hit, and you don't see the shark until the freaking end of the movie.
Correct.
Then Spielberg's like, okay, we don't need to spend $20 billion on dinosaur. We need a little cup of water to go.
Right.
Blah,
right. Self-attention. Right.
Like every second of dinosaur footage is expensive. So let's film our 10-second sequence with a little cup of water with a vibration going through it.
Oh yeah.
And then everybody's head's like, this is not good.
Right. Right. So, no. When directors find ways to do that, those little tension moments when they use really simple objects. Poltergeist's really great using the television, the static on the TV to set the stage, to set that tone that something ominous is coming out of something you'd seen 1,000 times on your own television. But all of a sudden now it was impending disaster.
Yes. And I read somewhere not the clown was apparently something you could just buy at Toys R Us, like in the it was a common toy that a lot of people had, and that's why they chose it. But it was very much like they just like the set designers had just ran and grabbed a whole bunch of crap and threw it in the room to decorate, and then they were walking through and somebody was like,
"That's creepy.
Let's do something with that."
Right. Well, the Scream mask is another really great example. That was a generic, great value version of a Halloween costume.
Mm-hmm.
And they grab that, they throw it in the movie, all of a sudden
it's thing.
It's brand. Iconic. It goes from being that generic thing to being Pepsi.
Yeah, it's absolutely awesome. So anyway, you had a battling out between Cliffhanger and Jurassic Park, just because Jurassic Park wasn't in wide release yet. Number 3 was Last Action Hero.
Which,
Had the best soundtrack ever.
I'll defend... Dude, that soundtrack.
You
You had Cypress Hill, AC/DC.
I still enjoy that movie.
Dude, that movie's a love.
Oh,
I'll
it's
defend
great.
it to my
It should not have failed. Like,
No.
I don't think it really failed. I think it came out profitable. It just wasn't Schwarzenegger level success.
Yeah, no, it was
much-
crapped on by the critics pretty
Yeah.
heavy.
It was a much different style movie than what he was.
They weren't expecting the
Used to
parody of it.
Yeah.
They were coming into this thinking Commando, Predator,
Right.
Raw Deal. And they wanted that Schwarzenegger and him playing every trope possible out of his own movies and other people's action films. Yeah, dude, he had the cartoon cap partner and the over obvious villains.
My favorite was the obnoxious captain that just bitched about everything.
Yes, yes, the angry.
It was straight out of 48 Hours.
angry-
Not 48 Hours. Beverly Hills Cop. It was straight out of there.
Yeah, the angry, that stereotype, that angry black captain. That one point they have smoke coming out of his ears.
Yeah, it
because
was,
he's so pissed
so
off.
good, man.
Oh my
It's a
God.
really, really great movie. And the villain was great. What's his name that played the villain?
Oh
damn,
my
I can't remember his
God.
damn
Yeah,
name.
he had that stint on Game of Thrones.
He did a great job, and also the axe murderer. He's that dude from RoboCop 2.
Yes. Yeah, Tom Noonan.
Yes. It was that was such a fun movie.
Charles Dance was the British assassin. Yeah. With the glass eye. Oh, genius, dude! He oozes through that screen. It's
Now,
so
the
good.
only thing I don't like about that movie is the young kid. I thought the casting was horrible. For some reason, he seemed to be overacting to the point where it was beyond what the parody should be. Because he was supposed to be the only part that wasn't parody.
He was supposed to be
He's a normal
grounded.
guy.
And yeah, it's the only thing I don't like about that movie is the casting of him. But other than that, I love the damn movie.
So here's the thing, because I always feel so bad, because I fucking hate the prequels for Star Wars. But the kid, Jake Lloyd, who caught all that shit from everybody to where the boy, like he's fucked for life.
Oh yeah, and he hates it.
From having been in a Star Wars movie. That should have been like
launching his career.
Like whether it launched his career or whether it just should have
Still.
been
Made
a
him
nice
iconic,
playground ride because he got a chance to be
Oh
on
yeah,
a
well
movie when
him
he was
and
little.
Ahmed Best. I mean, the internet came together to just shit on these people.
You know, I feel because if a little kid can't act, a little kid can't act. But you're fucking grown up writing this article. Just be like, you know.
Yeah.
So
give me a little common decency. Just a slip.
A little
Just a slip. Just
something,
taste.
you know. But people just shit on him constantly,
Oh,
and I'm
yeah.
like, dude, it's like, and I, you know, like I'll get like this, like I'll start thinking about. It's like Meg said one time because I'm not a super fan of a tremendous number of actresses. And the reason I'm not is because there's a lot of famous actresses that are more famous for their personality and their looks than
they are for their ability.
than their abilities. And so it's like, and one of them, for example, is like Sandra Bullock. I think she's a awesome human being. I think she's super cool. She doesn't really sell me on the fact that she's about to die in Speed, right? Like she's a mediocre actress. She's just super famous and cool, and you know, like Julia Roberts, kind of the same way. Now, on the flip side, contemporary to Julia Roberts, Michelle Pfeiffer, I think, hung the moon. She's an awesome actress, and she's all those other things.
Right. Not everybody can be, you know, Jodie Foster.
Right.
Or, you know,
But
Dame Judi Dench.
But somebody will mention. It'll typically be with actresses more than actors. But somebody will mention an actress, and I will often think that they may be overrated. And Meg's one time like, dude, I'm like, no, like here's a whole long list of actresses I love. I think there's some overrated ones. I think Tom Cruise is terribly overrated as an actor. I think George Clooney is a horrible actor. Flip side, I think Brad Pitt pretty much hung the moon. I think he's awesome. And he's been in a lot of shitty movies, but he's a good actor in them, right?
But the difference is, what I love about you, and one of the reasons we get along well, is that while you have those opinions, you understand why some people enjoy them.
Oh, well, I don't
And
try
you
to
don't.
knock you for liking
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Right.
I'm kind of like, I don't really.
Personally, just
you know.
like, you know how I am with Tom Cruise, his best role was in Tropic Thunder. So honestly, in my opinion, the only role where he acted and was somebody different. When I first saw the movie, it took me a second to realize it was even him.
But where I was going with this is, I often think that it is ultimately the director's fault. The director hired the casting director.
Yep.
But if there is a miscast part in a movie, it's not the actor's fault. Probably 100% of the time. Because the actor is doing what the director told him to do.
Right.
And they were placed there by the casting director. They didn't show up on set just like...
I'm going to take this role.
Just like walked in and be like, what's up, I'm playing Bruno. Roll him. And they're like, man, this guy sucks. Where did he come from?
Too bad we got this guy for Bruno.
You know? Like, there's like multiple levels of approval that put that person in there.
Right.
You know, you can't shit on the actor. I mean, for delivering a tepid performance especially when they're like 11. You know, you can praise them for being good. Like Haley Joel Osment, you know, right? He's a freaking good actor, but you know, again, he was put in there by somebody else. So,
right. Correct.
All right. So the rest of the movies, those top 3 were ones that we'd seen. Everything else was like romantic crap or historical, make you feel bad shit for the Oscars, but still on the charts, even though they were released far, far before. If you were in June of 1993, you could still go to the movies and see Dragon, the Bruce Lee story.
Nice.
Which was a great movie.
It's a very good movie.
Yeah.
You could see Unforgiven.
Just don't even get me started on Unforgiven. I'll talk Unforgiven
Me and my
for
friends
hours.
watched that constantly. It was such a good movie.
So we won't get too far into Unforgiven, but I will tell you what. There used to be railroad tracks between here and the other side of the I-10. And Old Katy Road was its own road, and then there's railroad tracks, and then the feeder to I-10 feeder on the other side. And I grew up right on the other side of the freeway. There's a movie theater on the other side of the tracks down here where HCC is now.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my friend wanted to go see Unforgiven. We were 15 or 16 years old. It's a rated R movie. We're like, okay, what are we going to do? Like, Unforgiven, let's go. So, oh shit, it starts in 20 minutes. So we got to go. We don't have cars. We run from my house to the movie theater because we're going to miss our call time. Get to there. There's no other movie starting at 3 o'clock except for Three Ninjas.
That's what you buy a ticket
to. So Jason and I come busting out of the bushes on the back side of the other building's parking lot, run up, sweating, breathing heavy. 2 movies, Three Ninjas. And this chick's just like...
It's not that good.
Yeah. And it's like off to the left and Unforgiven's to the right. We don't even look. We're just like running there and catch the opening credits. We're like, we made it. Worth it. Totally worth it.
I did that with Demon Knight. I bought tickets to see Street Fighter. You do what you gotta do.
You do.
All right. You do what you gotta do.
Back in the day, you had to, you know.
Yeah, and most of the time they didn't care. Once you got past the box office, most of the time, didn't give a shit. They used to take your ticket right at the door.
Uh-huh.
There wasn't a whole lot of we're waiting down the line to guide you into your... At least not the theaters I was going to.
No, the only time it ever got me is whenever the movie was sold out and I snuck in and I didn't have any place to sit and I'm like, well, crap.
Yeah. This is a little obvious. It's a little obvious.
And you could still go see Groundhog Day.
It's pretty great. I love a good... Anything to do with time paradoxes. If you can entertain me with that pretty easily.
Yeah. And Bill Murray.
Bill Murray's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
His acting is impeccable.
So I did find this, because the old business used to go way back in time and talk about notable events, and I figure that on this day, you can only lap yourself so many times, right? Like there's so many. But last week's music, the Flashdance song. This week's music, number 1 was "That's the Way Love Goes" by Janet Jackson.
I don't even remember that song.
I don't either.
That's sad.
Yeah.
And I'm an R&B fan. I don't even remember that fucking song. Damn.
Well, and on TV, again, in no particular order, these are just the top brain cloud of TV shows that were on. You would be able to watch Beavis and Butthead.
Done.
Martin.
Yep. Martin.
Melrose Place.
I know a girl is super big in the hole.
Speaking of Martin, I watched Roscoe Jenkins last night.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen it in a while. That movie's so fucking funny, man.
Baywatch. That's one out once you always, like, you watched it.
Yeah.
You didn't listen to it.
No.
You put it on mute while you were listening to, like, Pink Floyd or something.
It was the opposite of your excuse for Playboy. Like, I'm not reading the articles, I'm just looking at the pictures.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I saw a Shania Twain video, because we had, MTV, VH1 or whatever. VH1 would play the country music, but I would always, I would keep shit muted and listen to actual music on my stereo and just have the TV on. And then if something came on where it was a video that I thought it was interesting, then I'd pause and, I'm sitting there and, see Shania Twain, and she's dancing around in a cornfield in this little black dress and bouncing around. And I'm sitting there I realized, because I was stoned, I was like, holy shit, this chick's fine.
You're like, I'm not hanging out in enough cornfields.
I clicked the video and it's all like, yay haw. I was like, nope.
Yeah.
Let's go.
That was me and watching pretty much anything Telemundo or Univision. It's like, I was not fluent in Spanish, but their shows were exactly the material that was drawing me in.
My buddy said it best. He's like, I don't know what is up with the people who film Mexican commercials, but
geniuses.
But they know exactly what it is they're doing.
Dude, they have their weather girls. I've never been more interested in precipitation. Never. Every drop, sir.
Yep.
Every damn drop. Yolanda, you get it, girl.
10 minutes later, he's like, I wonder what the weather's doing tomorrow.
Yeah, let's go ask Yolanda.
Let me take my weather channel app, because I don't remember what the fuck she said.
All right, finishing it out. You can see Seinfeld, Married with Children, Full House, and Matlock.
Good shows. Good shows, man.
And that was it for the old business. We're going to take a break real fast and come back with the new.
Yeah.
Ready? Go! Here it comes! You missed! Faster! Get out of the way! Oh, ow! Your peanut butter hit my chocolate! Your chocolate hit my peanut butter!
Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Real milk chocolate, delicious peanut butter. Two great tastes that taste great together.
Reese? Yeah.
Peanut Butter Cups.
Mr. Gomez, whenever you're ready.
New business is new business, and this is new business.
We were talking about the Cure on break for a second. You know what I passed up the other day? And I'm still thinking about it. It just, sometimes Vinyl Edge had a original press Disintegration on the wall.
Yeah.
Possibly the greatest album of all time.
For $100. Little rich for my blood, since yesterday was my wife's birthday, and
Prioritize.
Hey, it's Father's Day,
Prioritize.
dude, well, I'm talking.
Ask my son about that shit.
I'm talking record time. I'm not talking real time. It's been but man, it is not perhaps. It is, to me, the best record.
The greatest album ever made. Yes.
It is amazing. And they had it on the wall, and if they're selling it at that price, then it's solid. And I'm just like, fuck. Oh well, it'll show up again. Not only is it the best record ever,
man.
It sold a lot of copies, so
Yeah.
that means that they're out there.
It's hard to tell if you'll ever run into it. We've all had those instances as collectors of anything.
Mm-hmm.
You look at it and you're like, well, I get paid in 2 weeks. I'll come back, and then it's gone. You're like, I'll come across it again at some point. Sometimes you do. Sometimes that shit is gone.
It used to be a lot easier
Mm-hmm.
back in the day.
No, well, now
than it is
people
now.
are
There's
collecting.
too many people fucking picking now.
Yeah.
I can remember some of the finds that I'd made back in the day at the estate sales and stuff.
Oh yeah, half price
That were
books.
just remarkable.
Dude, some of the stuff you'd come across at half price books, dude, I found some pretty decent gems, comics and stuff like that.
Half that, dude. Back when Half Price Books was actually a discount book, I've got antique copies of poetry books, by Baudelaire and Wordsworth and stuff. They were printed in if they were not early edition, they were early editions. They weren't first maybe,
Right.
but it was within 20 years of publication for somebody who's taught in college now. You know,
right.
20 years is not that long.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And got them for like a quarter, 50 cents.
Well, I can remember going to a estate sale on the far south side of Houston years ago. Nowadays, I would have been worried about having my catalytic converter stolen in that type of area.
Yeah.
And I'm at this estate sale, and I'm finding a few things, and the lady's like, feel free to open up whatever you want. And I open up this cabinet, and these vinyls fall out. And it's the first Houdini, Bad Boys, Run DMC, just all these old, perfect condition hip-hop vinyls just fall out on the ground. And I'm like, how much you want for these? She goes, $1 each. I was like, sold. Just grabbed them all and ran out the damn house.
I went to a thing, I had to have been like 10 years ago, when right before I started Academy, and I went to some garage sale, and some lady had a bunch of horror Betamax tapes, some old lady, and she was letting them go for 50 cents a pop. Nowadays, I mean, those things are worth, some of them are worth hundreds of dollars. Mm-hmm. There's no way I would have come across that kind of thing. There's no way.
Too many people. Too
many people collecting. They're looking at antiquated technologies and collections and stuff.
You're talking about the old days between when you could find cool stuff at thrifts and the now. You can still find things.
Sure.
But I find it to be rather pathetic, really. I mean, I think it sucks. The author Cormac McCarthy just died, and there's a there's a blurb that I saw that said that he very rarely signed books to anybody that wasn't personalized, because that diminishes the value on the open market, because who wants to Bob or to whatever.
Right.
And he left his son a certain amount of non-personalized signed books, because he knew after he died, they were going to have a specific market value that only increased as time went on.
Right.
But he knew how that market worked, so he's like, I'm not going to flood the market with my own signature, but I will fill up a whole bunch of them so they filter out, and that's a legacy.
Right. That was Chuck Palahniuk posted that. Yeah. I was reading that about Cormac McCarthy. Mark Hamill does the same thing.
But too many people are out there looking for the dollar. They're not looking for
correct
for the. And
right.
I find it funny, because I remember when I was a younger collector of comics or whatever, I was like, oh, it's gonna be worth something someday, and the reality was it wasn't, because it never really caught up. It never caught up with inflation, and not only that, but just space. Think about rental. If it sits a square foot on the floor and it's $16 a square foot per year, and you've had it for 20 years, that comic book better be worth more than $200, or else it's not.
Right.
But then at some point I realized that I am the collector. I am the old guy that will spend, $100 for the $2 toy that came out when I was little just so I could have it again. I am the collector. But there's too many scalpers, I guess, is what's out there.
Right. And that's hindered a lot of things. Getting, like, the market I'm in, one of the things I collect is signatures. I do a lot of conventions and stuff. And I used to lie to myself when I was younger. I would tell myself the collector's lie. I'm going to get 2 of these. I'll keep one. I'll sell the other one. I was full of shit. I ended up with 2.
Yeah.
I'll take one out of the box to display. Never fucking happened. I had 2 in a box. And it gets where you're chewing up so much space.
Yeah.
But around, around the 80s, early 80s into the mid 80s is when collecting things like that really started picking up. And everybody was collecting it. Everybody had, to this day, almost everybody I know has a binder filled with some version of Marvel cards.
Yeah.
The whole set. Oh, I've got the whole 1992 top set. Everybody has it. It's got the hologram. Everybody's got them. They're in mint condition. Everybody's is in mint condition. Because that's when people started collecting things.
Because nobody was throwing baseball cards between their spokes anymore.
Right. That's when values for comics came up. Because back in the day, kids were rolling them up, put them in their pocket. Yep. They'd trade them with their friends. They'd beat the cat with it. They'd do whatever you want with a comic book. So the few that survived gained value due to the scarcity.
Well, they were on newsprint too, so it was like a newspaper. You're going to keep your daily newspaper.
Correct. Right.
Yeah. And how many of those daily newspapers would be valuable because maybe it was the first, I don't know, some little humanities report on a garage computer making business, and it turned out to be Apple.
Right. Or the moon landing.
Right.
Or
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, it's like nowadays when I see people, I see this all the time, just with the comic book market, is people will get a book that was released last week, and then a month later they're like, "Oh shit, I got a 9.8 on this." I'm like, "Yeah, you never read it. You literally bought it at the store, put it in a fucking top loader immediately, and had it graded." It's not the same thing.
Dude, we'll argue so much about comic people. How I've had conversations with people that are comic collectors that don't read comic books. Like, what's the point of buying comic books, you fucking asshole, than to read the comic book?
Well, and it's almost worse because I kind of hit the end of my collecting world. Not collecting world, but I'm happy with that set. Yeah. I don't want more, and I don't want them in the box. I'm good. And I just kind of hit the end of my...
Yeah.
So then I switched to records, because I'm a huge music fan. Vinyl people are worse than comic people.
Yeah.
Because if it's ever been played...
Yeah.
It's like, dude... The purpose of the book is to be read.
Yes.
The purpose of the record is to be heard.
To be listened to, yeah.
And I do get it. I do get it because I'm guilty. I've got the record on streaming. I've got it on CD. I can go to the Barnes & Noble and I can buy it on a modern repress. But the collector's heart of me wants the original in as good a condition as I can get.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm going to fucking do?
You're going to listen to it.
I'm going to throw it on that player.
Right.
I'm going to listen to it.
Right.
You know, I'm not going to let it, like...
Right. And those aspects of collecting have included so many things. A big one that I'm in also is I buy a lot of boutique releases of horror films. There's a lot of really great companies that put out a lot of obscure stuff. You know, Arrow Video, Scream Factory, 88 Films. They get a lot of these really obscure movies. They get a hold of the original negatives, and they do these updated releases, really clean, less static, and like, wow, I get to watch like Beastmaster and stuff like that, really cleaned up B films, Hell Comes to Frogtown and shit like that. But the collectors in those markets buy the limited versions with the really fancy slip cover, and they never take it out of the plastic. Why did you buy the fucking thing? I bought it to watch it. Mm-hmm. I don't give a shit. But if you look at their markets, a lot with comics and other things, it's $30 pre-order, but the moment it sells out from all the scalpers, now on eBay, it's $135 for robot jocks. Nobody should pay that money for robot jocks. Right? I love robot jocks.
Well, you know, still you got the, like, hey, I saw this in the theater, right?
Right.
I saw Unforgiven in the theater. I think my ticket was $4, matinee.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The experience of seeing Unforgiven in the theater, priceless. The story of running to try to catch a rated R movie and having to buy a ticket to a different movie because we weren't old enough to see the one we wanted to see, it's priceless. Would I sell that experience for $40, whether it was wrapped in plastic or not? Like, the music, the movies, the stories that move you, you know?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about as far as these things go. It's like, yeah, and if I find a grail piece that I know is, like, it's sealed and I can't... Those are the things that I'll sell because I can't listen to
enjoy
them
it
because they're sealed still. I'm not going to take a $400 record and turn it into a $50 record by breaking the plastic on it, right? But I will certainly flip that bitch and then buy 4 or 5 records that I want to listen to. So, anyway, we'll stay here all night, but, you know, let's go into some new business, man.
So we're going to jump around different themes and everything with this one. So we start off, we're going to head down to Ontario, California.
Oh, my dad lived there.
The Reyes family.
Oh.
So real estate agent John Reyes and his family had been cleaning out his father-in-law's house. He passed away, and they were cleaning it out to go ahead and sell it and stuff, and the guy was pretty much a hoarder, so there was shit everywhere. So he was getting all the trash out, and they started cleaning out this crawl space that was underneath the floors. And as they start getting into it, they find 1 million pennies. 1 million fucking pennies.
That's awesome.
It's only $10,000, but it's 1 million fucking pennies.
God,
so what's the first thing Mr. Reyes thinks to himself? We're going to go down to Coinstar.
My man Reyes is a thinker. You leave him alone.
He literally thought, we're going to go head down to the coin store machine. Then he realized, he was like, wait, I got to pay 8% to Coinstar. I don't want to lose that much coin.
That was his...
At Coinstar. That's the reason he didn't go to Coinstar. Not because you'd need several wheelbarrows going to the Kroger. Going up to Coinstar.
He's a deep thinker. You leave him alone.
So then he said, well, let me go run over to the bank and see what Wells Fargo can do. They were like, we don't have enough space for 1,000,000 pennies. We can't help you out.
Does it say how they were stored? Like
in bags.
They were bags.
They were bags. They were bags of pennies. And most of them are like old, so they were before the change to zinc. So they're actually copper pennies.
There might be some that were actually worth something.
Well, that's what he's thinking. So now he has this shit. He has this shit listed on OfferUp for $25,000. $10,000 worth of coin, $25,000, because he's thinking
there's a chance.
There's a chance of good stuff, but. You know how much effort it would take to go through 1,000,000 fucking pennies?
That's like the analog version of mining for Bitcoin.
It is, man. That's some Scrooge McDuck swimming right there.
So yeah, it's almost as though it's a curse to find 1,000,000 pennies because, like you said, you can't go to Coinstar and the banks won't accept it. You got to hope you can find somebody that's willing to pay.
Generally, if you take that any kind of severe amount of loose change, you have to roll it yourself anyway. Banks stopped doing that like a long time ago.
Well, that may be true. There might be a whole lot of other truth. What's funny about pennies and legal tender in general is they have to take it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You like roll up your wheelbarrows to the bank. And you're like, hey, I need to change this shit out. And they're like, sorry, we don't do that. You direct them to the back of a dollar bill with the legal tender thing, and they're in the business of trading money. They have to do it. So all you got to do is call your lawyer. Your lawyer will be like, hey, sorry, bro. And then the lawyer will charge you $9,000.
I was going to say, to be fair, Mr. Reyes thought he'd hit the jackpot with the 10 grand in pennies. I don't think he's got a serious man-eater on retainer.
He might, though.
Well, the thing about it is, 8%, that Coinstar idea is probably starting to sound a lot better than what he's going through.
Dude, I'll sit there for a day, just shoveling them in, get me a big gulp, and sit there.
Machines jam up. It's like, dude, that would take forever.
That's not even the big deal.
You just go down the road, do another one.
Say you do it at the Coinstar. Say he puts every penny into that machine. It accepts it. It doesn't fill up and stop because he's put in 8,000 pounds of pennies in there. And he gets his receipt that says, go to the cashier and get your X amount of $1,000. They're not going to have that kind of money in their register to just hand to somebody.
Gift card.
Yeah, they're going to put that shit. They're going to give you like a GameStop credit. Sir, that's where we can give you some credit.
Alrighty. Moving on. You guys are familiar with Jack Dorsey, of course. Mm-hmm. Twitter founder.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I was cleaning my glasses. My eyes are all wonky.
Isn't he trying to start another service? Or
yes, eventually he's going to get there. But you heard the Vision Pro just came out, the new Apple.
The one that looks
headset.
like ski goggles.
Yes. Yeah. So this is the point where Jack Dorsey in an interview decided to say, it looks like we're moving. He's giving a dire warning that it looks like we're moving to a point where we're all going to end up like the fat folks in WALL-E. Just 24. I'm like, you just now thinking that?
Dude,
We've been heading that way for years.
Somebody tell this guy to shut up. We're already there, bro.
What the fuck are you talking about?
You're fucking 10 steps back.
Yeah, in an interview, he said, that's the future we're driving towards with everyone in floating chairs, drinking food out of straws, and constant 24/7 entertainment. That's pretty much...
I want that.
We got 2 out of 3 now.
He's listing these things, and I'm going, yes, please, thank you, and win.
Right?
Yeah, I just thought that was just the stupidest thing that I had heard in a while. All right, moving on. Funner news. So you guys have all heard about the UFO that crash landed in Las Vegas. It happened right after we recorded last time. So
and it landed at somebody's backyard party.
Yeah, well, what was crazy is, you got a cop that has body cam footage where he saw it, like from where he was. Then they get a call to go to somebody's house and, hey, somebody's saying they got some 10-foot people running around the backyard. So the people were interviewed on Fox News discussing exactly what happened. And it's pretty creepy shit, man. You got to wonder. This is like the first real proof of contact that we've had, where it's pretty legitimate. I don't know if the government can keep trying to hide this shit.
Well, they already declassified.
Yeah,
because
what's
I think
funny
it's gotten to a
is
point.
they've spit so much out now, but our world is so absolutely insane that nobody gives a shit.
I don't think. I think that it's just people are so overwhelmed with input that it's just another thing.
Right.
Like, I would say that if you were to do a sliding scale, take all of your culture war bullshit out of it and just do a straight yes, no, or true, false. It's like, you believe in aliens, yes, no, or maybe. Like, 1, 2, 3. Most people would land on the yes or maybe. The ones that don't are no, but I think most people and majority would say, I'm sure that, do you believe that Harvey Oswald acted alone? Probably no. Just knee jerk. Like, you got 1 second to answer. Do you think the Kennedy assassination is a conspiracy? Probably. Like, down the line, just because the government has been. Have you seen that freaking comedian? He's a black dude. He's like, I don't really believe in a lot of conspiracies, but the people that don't believe in any of them,
Yeah, I have.
he's like, they've got to worry about everybody. He's like, I'm a father. I only have 1 kid, and I lie to him all the time.
Right.
Like, he's like, you think they're just batting 1,000? Like, they've just told the truth every time they've ever had an opportunity?
Right.
Like, no. Like, I think a lot of people, and I think that Scott and I've had the conversation on the show that I don't necessarily believe that it's aliens in the extraterrestrial. Like, there's another planet, and they came from there to here, and are manipulating whatever or not, or crash landing. I think that it's us. I think that we had developed a technology way back in the day. It got obliterated, at least on this planet, by some kind of cataclysm. And these are like Planet of the Apes. They're coming back.
It's kind of
and
been
being
Joe
like,
Rogan's theory for a long time.
and they're being like, okay, so when we left here, this place was a thriving, interplanetary hub, and now they're just now developing space travel.
Right.
If you think of the timeline of humanity, modern humans are 100,000 plus years old. Civilization is just over 6,000 years. When I say modern humans, I mean you could go back 100,000 years and you could find a modern human and put him in an elementary school and he'd come out just pretty much on par with everybody else. Undiscovered does not mean unintelligent, right? So what were they doing for 95,000 years?
Hanging out.
Fucking around?
Hanging out.
And then one day, 6,000 years ago, they just decided to build pyramids that were...
Okay,
well,
so
But
here's,
wait. And so then whenever you're talking about aliens, I'm like, well, it's not beyond the realm of possibility.
So here's a really good example of how you could think maybe they were just hanging out. One of my favorite little tidbits about the past is when the Irish discovered whiskey, right? If you look at the history of Ireland, in the 1400s, they discovered whiskey. They had no significant achievement for 300 years from that moment. Family Guy was pretty much on it when they showed that thing of Ireland thousands of years ago. They're flying around in spaceships, developing teleportation. One of them discovers whiskey, punches some dude, his wife gets pregnant, city burns to the ground. It just proves that there are times in history for really long periods that jack shit happens.
So yeah, the aliens are scary. You were going to say it. I mean, we had to segue. This is going to be a long episode because...
Well, I was going to say, Joe Rogan did a bit, and this is old Joe Rogan. When I first started listening to him, when he's at Spellbinders. Remember Spellbinders, where the improv used to be? He recorded a CD at Spellbinders. And in the bit, he talks about how, we talk about the pyramids. He's like, what if there was like a just incredibly intelligent, high-level race of people that, kind of ran things. And they had a bunch of idiot stone workers. And then all the really, really smart people realized we don't need to be here anymore. They disappeared. So all the stoneworkers were like, hey, we run shit now. Let's move into the pyramids. I get the big room, and they just take it over and start drawing shit on the walls. And we're actually the descendants of the idiot stoneworkers of Egypt. And all this, and we're thinking it started then. It actually had been going on for longer than that. It makes so much sense when you fucking puts it that way.
He's like, everybody goes to Grand Canyon, looks down at this big ass hole, and is like, wow,
look at that
it's
hole.
Amazing. He's
Such
like,
a hole.
He's like, you think that's impressive? Look up.
Yeah.
Forever.
All right. So the last bit of new business, we're going to head on down to Florence, South Carolina.
Ooh.
You've been hugging that East Coast lately, bro.
What's going on in old South Carolina?
Yeah, we're going to talk about Jawan Crittenden, who on June 12th was sentenced to life in prison. Okay, so before he was arrested, Mr. Crittenden was at home watching. You know what? You sent me this story to go over it. I'm like, he could have picked a better slasher. Because honestly, you know me, Halloween's overrated to me. That's just me.
I agree.
So Jawan's watching Halloween at home, and he gets inspired.
Ooh.
Jumps on his
love
bike.
Inspiration.
Jumps on his bike and rides it on down to one of the rec areas in town. Asks somebody, where's the bathroom? And they said, the bathroom, restroom's right over there. So he goes in the restroom, comes out donning Michael Myers mask, walks up to a victim and repeatedly stabs them until she dies. And he was recently sentenced for that.
A real GSD kind of
Yeah. So
so
young Jawan decided he was going to go ahead. All of a sudden, he got to bug up his ass to
do bad things.
Halloween movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so you started the article off saying how you think Michael Myers is overrated, but they're not talking a whole lot about Jason copycat killers, except for in part 5.
Yeah, but that's because Halloween is the easiest to emulate.
I'm fucking around.
He's plumber's outfit.
He's like, as a slasher, he's got no influence. He sucks. Just vote Jason. He's like, well, this guy.
He's got a butcher
actually
knife.
has a real honest body count.
So does it say whether he had the mask already? Did he go purchase one?
It doesn't say.
I have questions.
He threw a mask on. It doesn't say if he had the plumber's overalls on or not. I'm not sure.
If he didn't look, if he wasn't screen legit, I don't want to hear.
He may have had FUBU gear on with the Michael Myers mask.
Damn, man. You brought out the FUBU.
He might have
Was he wearing Ben Davis? Some Air Force Bloods on his way through the mission.
His gators.
He's got his gators on. Wearing Mad Dogs under the mask. Some looks.
But he fully admitted to the crime, and it wasn't a hard.
Michael Myers doesn't talk. We obviously know he wasn't that big a fan of Halloween.
Yeah, he was like, did you do it? And he was like, yeah. They're like,
You're full of shit.
You're done.
You're full of shit.
Like, you're not Michael Myers.
We were going to give you a pass. But no, not anymore.
We were just going to put you in the asylum and let you escape in a few years.
Yeah. You're going to learn to drive miraculously.
But you said shit.
Yeah.
So,
not anymore.
But that's it for new business.
All right, let's take a break.
Okay.
I think you're making a mistake. I think you really want to talk to me.
Sorry, I have 3 other interviews to do before this party's over.
Yeah, but they're not working on something that'll change the world as we know it.
They say they are.
Yeah, but they're lying.
There is a limit, even to the imagination.
Human teleportation, molecular decimation, breakdown, and reformation is inherently purging.
Where our greatest creations meet our deepest fears.
Something went wrong, Seth. When you went through, something went wrong.
You are about to go beyond that limit.
Those weird hairs that were growing out of your back, I had them analyzed. But they were definitely not human.
If you saw how scared and angry and desperate he is.
I'm sure Typhoid Mary was a very nice person, too, when you saw her socially.
No!
You're afraid to be destroyed and recreated, aren't you?
You're changing, Seth. Everything about you is changing.
Oh, no. What's happening to me? Am I dying? I want to know what's going on.
What does the disease want?
It wants to turn me into something else.
Oh, no.
A fly got into the transmitter pod with me that first time when I was alone.
Don't go back to it. Could be contagious.
I'm afraid.
Don't be afraid.
No. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Help me. Please, help me.
We are, man.
Because I got some shit.
I think that actually stepped in as soon as you said I got some shit.
I got some
The
shit.
restroom's down the hall, bro.
Dude.
We're not in here.
Dude.
You get that video I sent to you earlier? It's like, don't like your not having a good day at work. Just shit your pants. They'll send you home.
They'll send you home.
What
not
else can they
Amazon.
do? Then just go home, take a shower, and enjoy your day.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
I was like, yeah. I've never been that desperate before.
So me and Boom were talking during the break, and the thing about body horror is a subgenre of what body horror is basically in a nutshell is distortions and just really grotesque things to do with the human body. But I almost think that body horror can be considered a trope.
Easily.
Because so many other subgenres utilize body horror in the films themselves.
In different ways. It's implemented in a plethora of different ways.
And the list will go through everything from sci-fi horror to paranormal to everything can involve tropes of body horror. Just some of them doing different levels and different extremes than others.
Right.
I mean, every director from John Carpenter, Cronenberg, just, Lynch, everyone has used Barker.
Yeah.
They've all used body horror to a certain degree in their films, in some pretty significant films too. So body horror is, we're going to be talking about body horror, and you're going to be like, no, Hellraiser's not a body horror movie. Yeah.
It is, though.
It's 100%. It's 100% body horror.
And to kind of ground it, we started the last segment talking about that shark attack. If you're watching that shark attack, you see the shark take the guy's arms off. He takes the first one in the first strike, then he flips him around and rips his arm off in the second strike, and you see the guy pop up out of the water with no arms. And he's still alive, and there's still something 4 foot longer than him swimming around.
Yeah.
This is primal. Getting a part of you broken, morphed, healed a different way,
right,
added on to, removed, whatever.
That's body horror.
That's probably the most frightening thing to actually just getting checked out.
Right.
So that's why body horror hits in such a way that it focuses on that. It's not focused on a killer or a survivor or anybody's necessarily reactions to things happening, except for yours as a viewer into that universe where this is happening.
And I think what we'll start off with is a body horror that everyone is familiar with, and it really gives you a good idea of what the subgenre of body, not just the trope, but the actual subgenre of body horror is. And it's directed by a guy who is probably the most well-known body horror directors in the world, and that would be The Fly.
Yeah.
The entire premise of The Fly is a guy's body changing into a fucking fly. That's what the whole movie's about. And it gets pretty fucking grotesque.
Oh yeah.
With his body, his fingernails start falling off, his hair starts falling out, his entire body starts morphing.
Yeah, that transition to Brundlefly is incredibly graphic. Dude, the physical effects work in that movie is top. Goldblum turns in a great performance. Gina Davis, it's a classic. The Fly is an amazing film.
And that's one thing that you just brought up, and I meant to point out beforehand, is body horror is a wet dream for practical effects people.
Oh yeah,
because it's amazing the shit.
It's a run loose. It's the Mad Max of horror effects.
Yeah,
here's what you have. I want it to be insane. do what you got to do.
Right.
I think especially like you mentioned with The Fly, and we've talked about The Fly on prior episodes, but it's been years. But you have the characters so properly placed. You have Jeff Goldblum, who's Brundle he's a genius that is then compromised bodily, and then you have Gina Davis. She knows that something's wrong. She knows it, but she can't quite get her finger on it because it's so unbelievable.
Right.
That's the thing. It's like once she actually understands what's happening, it's pretty much too late because he's been completely overtaken. And the horror, you think it's almost from her point of view, but it's really from his.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
You know,
It's self-actualized horror. That movie is a cautionary tale on egotistical nature, because the whole movie's predicated on he's smarter than everybody else and doesn't need to listen to anyone. He knows what's best, and he's gonna fall victim to his own ego.
He makes a very silly mistake.
Right.
Just a very, very silly mistake by not paying attention, like and taking 2 minutes,
right,
and cleaning the room. He makes a amateur, silly, stupid mistake that he would completely discount.
Because he was already looking down the barrel of a Nobel Prize.
Yeah.
That's where his mind was. I already know more. I know better. I did the impossible. I don't need to be the little lab coat checking for parameters.
The thing is, following it, like no matter how, I don't know, he's redeemable. He actually does try to turn back a little bit. Like
right, but that's the cautionary tale, and he's down that road. At this point, it's time to own it.
But it's so like the whole falling apart piece. Right. When you're talking about body horror, there are parts that are harder to deal with, like just randomly puking while you're talking. Like oh, that was gross.
Yeah.
Your fingernails falling off. The like. They're not necessarily deeply embedded. It's not like you've just got gut shot, or hit with a spear. It's like no, this is your body functioning properly.
Right.
And everything's falling apart.
It's his everyday life, and it's just something he's having to now gear himself around. He apologizes. Not because he thinks it's something obscene, but because others may find it obscene.
Etiquette.
Another really fun one is Slither.
Slither is such a great movie.
One of the scenes that I always loved and it really sticks out is the lady who's impregnated in the barn.
Yeah.
And she's hungry and these things are growing inside of her, but what I always loved is that she's begging for food. And she's apologizing. She's like, I'm so sorry. I'm just so hungry. When she's eating.
She's worried about her looks.
She's worried about her looks.
I don't want you to see me like this.
Right. And it's not the just gigantic mass of slithering objects inside of this woman and that she's eating a carcass. She's worried about how you perceive her.
Mm-hmm.
Am I still pretty? I'm sorry. I'm so hungry. It's so good. It brings that humanity to those characters.
We watched Slither at your house after that one episode.
That is such a great movie.
Oh, it's
James Gunn.
So fun. Jesus, it's genius.
And I think I gotta say this is why James Gunn is in charge of both Marvel and DC, is because it really takes vision to make a movie like Slither. That it's just like he's an up and coming director. He's got all of these things. Okay, we're gonna make this royally fucked up, memorable body horror.
This is the thing about James Gunn is dude never forgot where he came from.
With
right
named actors. Like it's not
right.
We're not making a like Hollywood C movie with a whole bunch of like porn stars and failed soap opera people. This is movie stars. These are actors.
James Gunn has a ton of credit. If you look at the movies he made, Belko Experiment, he had some big names in Belko Experiment.
Yeah.
But the dude, he pulls weight. And where did he start? Romeo and Juliet.
A lot of... and one of the things I've always loved about the horror genre as a whole is it was always very accepting of amateur talent. A lot of movie stars, a lot of filmmakers, people doing scores, FX work. They find that initial start in horror because the standard is so low. You don't need to be Oscar talent to get into this field. All you have to have is the ability to come in and want to do your job.
Mm-hmm.
And if you excel at it, the more the merrier. You can turn into the next Carpenter, the next Bottin, whatever. But they'll take anybody. So you'll see a lot of people get they cut their teeth in horror.
And like I said, Gunn just hasn't forgotten where he came from. I mean, he made the first Guardians of the Galaxy, then he went and did Brightburn. And then he went and did Belko Experiment. And then he went ahead and did Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the dude, he doesn't forget his roots. I love James Gunn. I mean, he's just an incredible dude.
Yeah, I can tell. I mean, I enjoy Gunn too. Slithers.
Well, I mean, you're not married, but is he on your hall pass list? It's like if I'm ever around James Gunn, I'm allowed to fuck him.
Dude,
right.
Dude is awesome.
Right.
Dude is awesome. Yeah, Slither is a great one.
Right. They got a great body meld scene, which is very reminiscent of another classic of Society. Yuzna's Society, that ending scene, that movie.
I haven't seen it, so let y'all...
Oh my God. It's like I've said so many times on here, the first hour of Society does not prepare you for the last 30 minutes.
The body meld at the end of the movie.
It makes
makes the movie.
fever dream of a movie. Nick Benson, good friend of ours, he did he's one of the special effects artists in that movie. It is just an insane fucking fever dream of a movie.
100%.
And the special effects are amazing. I mean, everybody's seen the meme of the butthead dad.
Yeah.
You know, the kid's dad's face starts coming out of his ass. It's just an absolutely insane movie.
The melding from that, easily you can see from that scene where Gunn went with Slither with the big melding with Michael Rooker at the end of the movie. You look at that and you go, I've seen this before. Yeah. I've seen that. That was Yuzna. Yeah.
It is identical. But Society is a great movie that it took me way too long to see that damn thing.
I saw it young.
You'd send me a list, and whenever you mention body horror, and I think it's just because of the way it affected pretty much goddamn everybody when it came out, is RoboCop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
RoboCop bills itself as a sci-fi action, somewhat satire. It's a Paul Verhoeven movie.
Love him.
Yeah, but his entire thing is over-the-top satire, which is RoboCop, which is Showgirls, which didn't deserve to fail. Showgirls is a much better movie.
It shouldn't have ruined that woman's career, that's for damn sure.
Well,
it did. It destroyed her career.
Oh, yeah. And everybody watched it, so it made all the money, and then everybody's like, oh, well, like, let's pile on her. But I want to talk about RoboCop, because RoboCop... We've talked about the hard-boiled 80s, where everything was hard-boiled. Everything. Sitcoms were hard-boiled. Cartoons were hard-boiled. Commercials. The McDonald bland peoples. Like, everything was scary in the 80s. It had the little shadow of dark on everything. Everything was satanic. Fucking Skeletor. And like, everything just had this little dark stripe across it, right? Then you have RoboCop, and then you have people like Schwarzenegger and Stallone just cleaning up at box office on action movies that just have these massive body counts. You have RoboCop that is political, social satire by Paul Verhoeven, but he just doesn't have any restraint. There's no seatbelts in his world. So he's like, okay, well, how does the guy become RoboCop? Like, what's his backstory? Like, who is he? And you get this, like, not even 4 minutes, probably like 45-second scene of him kissing his wife and child goodbye to go out into the world. But his house is sunshiny, and he lives in little Periwinkle Lane, and he goes to work, and then he gets ambushed by a bunch of gangsters and gets his arm blown off.
On his first day.
Just blown away.
Oh, yeah, no, they tear him apart.
Oh, they fucked him up.
Like, he's got those bulletproof vests on.
But that shit only does so much.
Well, no, but they take advantage of it because they know it hurts.
They torture him.
So they don't ever let him, like, take a blow and fall down. They hit him from behind at the same time, and everybody just fires in. It's just destroying his chest.
Oh, yeah, they rip Murphy apart.
When he falls down, they blow his arm off. and then shoot him in the head point blank, and then reanimate him. And even the good guys, like there are no good guys in that entire movie because everybody has a vested interest in RoboCop being whatever they want to manipulate, right? But every shot, like, it's just, he's fucking Batman. He's just patrolling, and he shoots a dude in the dick.
This is one of my favorite parts in the whole movie.
He's just, like, every possible way to take anything that would be normal and subvert it and twist it over and make it so much worse. They do it in RoboCop.
Yeah.
Just all the way through, even to the end where he gets blown out the window, like the bad guy gets blown out the window. There's, like, everything is, like, over the top and rips you apart and makes you bleed. And they carried it over a little bit in RoboCop 2 where they were ripping each other's heads off, or ripping their own heads off, which
right.
I think was part of the original script, and which is why I bring it in, because RoboCop was successful because his mind was such that
he was able to take it.
He could handle being reanimated. And the other guys just couldn't. But
right.
Just think about it, trapped in a robot body. You've already been killed. You've already suffered as hard as you can. And now you wake up and they send you back out to work.
Right, and they erase your memories and they randomly coming back to this guy.
They don't erase them. They just stick them in the back of your head.
Right. They're
still there.
And they randomly show up every now and again.
And you're confused. You don't understand what the fuck is going on.
Right.
And the dude's like, well, we can save the one arm. He's like, why? Take it off.
Lose the arm.
Yeah. It's just like...
Yeah, we already talked about this, lose the arm. Yeah.
So we were talking about special effects a little while ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go into my number one sci-fi horror, which also is another just body horror, just wet dream, is The Thing. 1982 is The Thing. Absolutely amazing movie with some of the best body morph scenes that you will ever see.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
100%.
I mean, I went to the 40th anniversary screening of that at the theaters, and at the end they actually did some Stan Winston interviews, and one of the things he talked about was the Norris head scene, and that whole thing is just amazing. That's 100% practical fucking effects.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, dude, and the modern cleaned up those from the original negatives, like the 4Ks for The Thing. Gorgeous.
It still holds up
clean.
So well.
It's beautiful.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's absolutely amazing.
Great performances. Ennio Morricone's soundtrack.
Oh, the casting for that movie. When you think about the names that are in it, it is an amazing fucking movie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. I just met a lot of those guys.
Yeah,
at Frightmare. Yeah, no, and I gushed the whole time about how that movie is just. It's a masterpiece in all genres, in its claustrophobic nature, when it comes to science fiction, body horror. It carries across so many genres, you can't pigeonhole it into just one thing.
You have that with The Thing, the polar. There's nowhere to go. There's no way out. So
right. The paranoia, the claustrophobia.
Yeah, like
we need dread. We
need help, but it's not coming.
Right, it's imminent death.
And there's just it's aliens or alien basically, which it's like you're just out there.
Where the fuck are you gonna go?
Yeah, you're on a raft. You had sharks in the water.
You had helicopters. They're gone. You had a snowcat. Nope, that's fucking gone too. And beyond that. One of the things that really gets you is not just you can't leave, but if you had the option, you shouldn't.
Because you're carrying
you could carry it somewhere else. So not only do you have to work on trying to destroy the thing, figure out who's not an alien and who is, you have to get rid of your radio and any chance of escape because the possibility that it could end the world. So you're just dealt a fucking shit sandwich right off the bat.
Maybe seen the movie. Have you ever read The Stand?
Mm-hmm. Of course.
That opening scene where the guy just comes home because he managed to bust past the barricades.
Right. Yeah, the guard. Yeah.
And like he was infected, but he's like, man, everything's going crazy. They're shutting all the doors, and he just managed to slip under.
Yeah.
And it's like, but they build up the character to the point where you understand, obviously, why. Because any of the rest of us would at least try. Unless they pulled you into a big, massive group. Right. But even then, group suicide is uncommon. You're like, well, fuck.
But he didn't think he was sick. He goes home. He gets his wife and his daughter. Hey, we need to leave. So the first thing is they get in the fucking sedan, they get in the station wagon, and they haul ass. And every person they come in contact with
is a carrier.
They're just spreading it. And it's, that's what Wilford Brimley's character, he's destroying the radio. It's like, you can't. Mm-hmm. You can't let this out. He later on becomes, corrupted by the
But
before then,
he's
like, we can't fucking do this. This is the end of the world. We have to make sure it can't get it out. It can't call for help. It wants help. Yeah. No, it's amazing.
Very good movie. Okay. So we'll move on to another one, which this one, when I went to this movie, I had no idea what it was about. I had never seen a trailer. I just saw that it was up on Netflix for a while. And I was like, I really like Justin Long. Motherfucker's awesome.
Tusk.
He's a great kid. He's a great actor.
Yeah.
Just for some reason, he always finds himself in the darndest predicaments.
Fucking barbarian.
Tusk.
Yeah.
That movie is absolutely insanity. Have you seen?
I intentionally avoided that one because it was apparently so bad.
It wasn't a bad movie. It's just weird.
It's just people weren't ready for the kind of story that Kevin Smith was going to tell.
It wasn't
very niche, very avant-garde.
It's not
very specific.
It's not as groundbreaking as the one I'm about to compare it to, but it's like a Eraserhead where you're watching that movie and you're like, what the fuck am I watching?
To be fair,
and why am I watching this shit?
Let's all be fair. Tusk infinitely more coherent than Eraserhead.
Yes, Eraserhead,
a lot less.
Well,
it was a lot less art house. I mean, David Lynch and Kevin Smith are two completely different directors.
But it's similar in the fact that you're watching it and you're like, what the fuck am I watching? This man is turning this boy into a walrus.
Right.
It forces his body. You know how they show those shoes that they used to make Asian women wear that would make their feet
the binding. Yeah.
Essentially, he binded his body to make it morph into a walrus. And even after he was saved by his friends, they stuck him in a zoo.
Yeah.
He was still a fucking walrus.
It reminded me a lot of Asian cinema.
Mm-hmm.
Asians have always been, going back to my film history anyway, really big into body horror. Because with them, you found a lot of their tropes in horror revolved generally around two things. It was ghosts/spirits and body horror.
Yeah.
Way too many arms, eyes, legs. And then you had somebody like, oh my God, I forget his name. He did this movie called Tetsuo the Iron Man in '89. And that started a big thing with very RoboCop style. It was biomechanics in their body horror. People with machinery attached to the skin, but not in a really clean way, really painful looking and dirty. And they went on to do whole series of that. And it still exists today. They put them on Netflix, Meatball Machine and Machine Girl. Very big in the Japanese cultures.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tusk is a trip. You gotta watch it, man. I'm not asking you to watch Serbian film. You can watch Tusk. Okay? Not nearly the same thing. Dude, I would never ask anybody to watch Serbian film.
Dude, I've seen the hardcore stuff on Reddit. Here's the thing. It's not so much that, I'm not soft. I've seen all the scary shit. It's not that. It's like, I've got 120 minutes that I can spend because my kids are in bed, my wife's in bed, nobody's asking me to be anywhere, I got nothing to do, I need to decompress, I've got 120 minutes, what's the best thing? I've got a fucking 20-year backlog.
Man, story of my life.
And I'm like, okay, so that's why I mentioned that sitcom that I've been watching, the I Think You Should Leave. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's a sketch comedy, it's on Netflix, and
it sounds familiar.
Dude, it's fucking hilarious. I sent you that one where it's the dude's like, get the new doggy door. You won't let this thing in here. And it's this sloth pig crossbreed thing crawls into his house and everything turns red. He's like, this thing came in when I was laying on the couch. and it's like walking through just hissing and like trying to bite him. And there's a guy outside the window. It's like, it's a pig. It's a pig. He's like, what the fuck, man? Like, what the fuck? He's like, yes, we get this new automatic locking doggy door that won't let that thing in here. It's, yeah, there's, body horror, and then there's like weird shit that just like makes my head turn sideways. I've got about an hour and a half a night.
Right.
What do you think? How do you think the dude from a Serbian film would do at an event?
I think that he probably wouldn't get a whole lot of love.
Okay.
I remember, speaking of body horror and Japanese, I'm super big into director Takashi Miike. Did Ichi the Killer, Audition, which are tremendously violent body horror films. Not to the level of the extreme gore stuff that came out later on, but I had heard that a couple years before I started going to Frightmare, they had the lady from Audition, and nobody got in line.
Okay.
And Audition was a beast. I love Audition. You want to look at body horror in its simplistic finesse of violence. Miike's work is cold, amazingly good. But it's not something like Serbian film, not the level of the sexual violence, but the mean-spirited nature of the graphic violence in that movie doesn't become comical. You're watching it and you're thinking,
what the fuck?
Holy shit, this, like the shark attack, like this is happening. When she starts to take this guy apart with this meat saw and is grinding needles into his chest, you're going, oh my God. It's like there's that
It's like a snuff film.
Kind of, but without the super over-the-top graphic nature. It's very simple. Like have you guys watched Reversible?
No.
Okay, so there's a scene that's known for Monica Bellucci is in this
Irreversible.
This film. Irreversible, sorry. And she's sexually assaulted getting off of a train. And it's probably the if you can say this and not be seen as a complete piece of shit, the most well done rape scene I've ever seen put on to cinema. Because it's not in its quick and violent, oh my God, I'm gonna rape you. It's very slow and methodical and plodding. And while it's happening, it's a train wreck. And it's just the trains are coming off the tracks, and you're having a hard time to look away. And Miike's a lot like that. So it's very niche stuff. I don't think the Serbian film.
We kicked the idea, right?
I mean, it'd be kind of entertaining and all, but you get a very small subsect of people that are into that kind of cinema.
All right, let's take a trip back to the 80s real quick.
Ooh.
I was going to throw in before you go to the 80s. Talk about body horror. Have you seen some old 9 Inch Nails videos?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're only going to hit them on for a second. But I'm actually in a 9 Inch Nails live concert video, which is fucking weird. We'll go into later. But Happiness and Slavery. Mm-hmm. Dude checks in and gets thrown into a meat grinder. Dick first. What's the other one? There's a few more where it's just they rip him apart by the rib cage. It's the same director, but go Google or go on Reddit and find some old original 9 Inch Nails videos, and even the video for Closer was on MTV, and they had to blur half of it out.
Right.
But those the videos were not made by random video makers. They were made by body horror avant-garde artists at the time that Reznor seeked out to make the most fucked up looking videos that he could find.
Right, and then Fincher aped that style later, doing like Seven and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll jump over to the 80s.
Yeah, I would almost say like we wouldn't have Fincher if we didn't have 9 Inch Nails.
Oh yeah,
visually,
yeah.
like
100%.
Oh yeah, movie that's very near and dear to my heart. And what's weird is, while the first one is the one that I'm most closest to, which would be Basket Case. Mm-hmm. Basket Case 2 takes the fucking cake. I don't know if you recall Basket Case 2. I'm assuming Boom from his reaction definitely recalls Basket Case 2. But Basket Case 2...
It's fucking ridiculous.
It is such a ridiculous movie. And, you know, the original Basket Case is ridiculous enough because it's just... It's a goofy movie. Stop motion animation with a lot of the effects and everything. And, you know, it's a movie I enjoyed as a kid. I still enjoy it today. But Basket Case 2, I rewatched last month. I picked up a VHS copy of it.
Absolutely ridiculous.
So, in Basket Case 2, Belial and his brother, Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, yeah, Kevin. Damn it. Too many beers. Anyway, they find a safe space to go to hide out outside of New York. And there's this woman that keeps all these mutants up in her attic.
So they're just mutants, just happen to be running wild.
She's rounded them up
across, looking for a place to go, and they just stumble across a barn that happens to be full of mutants.
The first thing I noticed, I'm rewatching it the other day, and I haven't seen this shit since I was a kid, like literally. And they go up in the attic, and they're meeting all the new mutants and everything, and I'm like, that attic's really clean. Considering 40 fucking mutants live up there, and have the shit and piss where they're standing. It is so nice. And then Belial meets a female Belial.
Female version
and there's
of Belial.
actually a sex scene between Belial and the female Belial.
Yeah, there is.
It is just, that is like goofy. That movie is all body horror. The second one, that's all it is. Is just shocking mutants that you see the entire time. But yeah, I hadn't seen it since I was a kid, and somebody had a VHS copy of it for $10 on I can't remember. It was on one of the VHS groups on Facebook. It's like, I take it, and I threw it in, and I was like, damn, this shit really fucking sucks.
Oh yeah, man.
It does, dude.
Oh yeah.
When the whole sex scene started, it's not a short sex scene.
No.
It's drawn out, and there's grunting.
Oh, they
need you to
know. They need you to know.
Like, what in the hell am I watching?
It's bad.
Yeah, and the other one I was going to say, another one that's very near to my heart, which it's not I would consider one that uses tropes, would be Swamp Thing.
Very much
Especially the series. I don't know if you remember the series on USA Network. Yeah. Because the series on USA Network went a lot further into Arcane's obsession with trying to recreate.
Right, there was a lot of mutating
monster.
of people.
So
and
he
stuff,
has so many mutations that he does, and there's shit like the very first episode, and this was 100% Alan Moore Swamp Thing was the series. I mean, he was not. He did some shit. He takes this guy and he literally merges this guy into a tree. Swamp Thing just fucks his shit up, and just his whole body becomes enveloped into the tree. It's the Swamp Thing series was 100% body horror. It was some pretty good stuff. So,
well, and that's that originally the original Swamp Thing movie with Wes Craven.
Oh yeah,
and when we first started the podcast, you talk a lot about Swamp Thing, and I was very familiar, like I had memories of the movie, but I was very familiar with the comics because of just that kind of Echo Warrior and
the
kind of like
Crows was a great story.
He was very much a he was an on-demand hero, like not like the swamp was the swamp, and then some shit's going on, and then like he was just there to take care of it. Of course, the stories with his whole life, but as far as like kind of like Superman, he's like fine, and he's like here's some shit, and he flies down and takes care of it. Swamp Thing was kind of an on-demand hero, and you know, like I remember the movie, and then you talk so wonderfully about it, and I went back and watched it, and I remembered the scenes, the things that I remembered about Swamp Thing from when I was a kid were the most effective scenes in the whole movie.
They stick with you.
Was whenever he's got his arm cut off and it starts growing back in the light.
He has to stick it to the sunlight.
When she gets shot and she's just got the red dot, and the little boy's like trying to help her and stuff, and she doesn't make it. You know, like she just kind of slowly dies. I remember that just being like, he's trying so hard and it didn't work.
Right.
You know, and like, regardless of the fact that he brought her back, but the fact that she died at all. Instead of like just being badly hurt, like I was like 8 years old, 9 years old when that came out, and I'm sitting there watching it on HBO and just being like, this is why I kind of put Swamp Thing out of my brain. It's because like there's no redemption for him. He's not changing back.
Right. No. He's
he got his arm cut off,
he
but he just grows it back in the light. But they torture him, and he's just like, haha.
He's the green, baby.
He's like green.
He's the green.
Like, I'm coming back.
He's
like
the
Avatar.
green.
But it was actually, that movie was scary as hell for a superhero movie in the early '80s.
It was Wes
For a little
Craven,
kid,
dude.
you're like, hey, and then you're like, oh, it's Wes Craven, and
Right.
Wes Craven takes no prisoners.
Right.
Yeah, so we'll jump into this one because actually me and Melissa were talking about this one yesterday or this morning. And this one, while it's a strictly paranormal movie, I love the way they utilize body horror in it. Would be the Autopsy of Jane Doe.
Beautiful. It was a really good time. My wife and I really
Such
enjoyed
a good
the
movie.
Autopsy
And
of Jane
you've seen
Doe.
that one on Netflix? It was on Netflix for the longest time, but essentially it's these two guys, father and son. They're having to do a quick autopsy for the law enforcement department on this woman that was found, and nobody knows who the fuck she is. And as they get further and further into the autopsy, open it up, they start finding like notes that are in her body. They open up her
Etched
body
into the skin.
and realize etched into her skin, under her skin. They literally like crack her skin open, pin it back, and that's when the son's like, "Fuck is that?" And there's stuff written on the inside, etched into the inside of her skin, and all this is all and all of a sudden weird shit starts happening. The light starts popping. It's a very effective movie, man.
Yeah, Brian Cox was in that. He did a great job.
But yeah, Autopsy of Jane Doe, like just the way they utilize, and the poor actress just lays there the whole time.
Right.
I mean, she does that. There's no backstory as to who she is. Nothing. I mean, you have no idea who this woman is.
Right, and they try to. There's little clues
Hints
and
that
things,
she was a witch,
but
and
it's
she was
you're
killed.
not really sure. No, they do a great job. The unraveling, utilizing the body to tell the story from the inside out. They did a great job.
Really
It's a
good
top class film.
Have you ever seen? I know you both have seen it, but the the Haunting of Hill House miniseries.
Yeah.
Talking about body horror, and we were having the conversation because my daughter needs braces, and this isn't braces, but that scene where the younger daughter had died, and the mother is in a premonition, and the daughter sits up, and she's all like, and then she reaches over and grabs the wire cutters and clips the wires out of her mouth so she can open her mouth to talk to her mother in the dream.
Yeah.
And you're just like, and she's dead. Like, she's on an autopsy table, but she, like, sits up and she's like, can't talk, so she snaps those wires, and you're like, you've got that entire structure inside of there, like, whether it's made of metal or plastic or whatever. That's one of those scenes where you're just like, you just remember every drill that's ever been inside it.
Oh yeah, no. Nope.
So it's interesting that you mentioned that, because one way we can kind of like start closing down the show is there are a lot of movies that are not body horror at all, but within the movie there's a significant scene that is 100% body horror. And I know you know of some of the greatest ones.
Oh yeah.
Poltergeist. Oh God.
One that I will bring up is it's actually one of my favorite movies. And I actually like James Woods. I know he's a controversial character nowadays. And I'd love to have him as a show, actually, just because of Cat's Eye and because of the movie I'm about to name next, which is Videodrome, another Cronenberg film. And one of the most iconic scenes in that movie is him reaching into his stomach. Literally just sitting on the couch, he's watching Videodrome, and he takes the tape and he shoves it in his stomach, and then he pulls out a gun. And then the gun morphs into his hand. It is just such a well done. The practical effects in that scene are absolutely amazing.
Cronenberg was really big, like Geiger or Giger. I always say it wrong. When it came to like biomechanical.
I always say Geiger too.
Yeah, no, I'm probably fucking it up.
You're just speaking English,
right? Into biomechanical engineering, machines made out of, but his machines were likely made out of people. You know, he did Videodrome, and he did Existenz, which was another one that was really big into the whole machinery made out of human flesh. Yeah, he's built a lot of his career around body horror.
Oh yeah,
you have The Brood, which was a really great film. Dead Ringers goes into the whole realm of the whole medical body horror, which is just another complete
medical body horror.
genre.
So many movies. We were talking about American Mary a little while ago.
Mary. You've got Tom Six did the Human Centipede movies.
Centipede movies. Yeah.
So medical body horror.
Reanimator. I mean,
Reanimator. Right. That's another one.
And we need to do a whole show on Reanimator.
Well, I think we should do a whole show on just the Prometheus effect, just reanimation. I mean, we can definitely do just if you look up on Wikipedia and look up movies inspired by Frankenstein.
Oh yeah,
it is insane. And the thing about it is like okay, so 1931 or 38 Frankenstein
31.
came out. 31. That's not really body horror, but if you look at some of the later ones that were made where the body parts don't match, or there's different things that are done. Those would definitely fall into body horror. Fucking Frankenhooker is body horror. The whole scene when he has all the prostitutes in the hotel room,
when they're smoking super crack.
That's 100% body. Their bodies are blowing up, and he's like taking all the body parts and putting them on a wagon so he can go and build Frankenhooker.
I think one of the interesting things also about body horror being used as a trope is that it's also really prevalent in cartoons. In Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I mean, a lot of those villains were a stack of eyeballs with arms shooting out at weird angles because it was always easier to deem something that looked weird as being wrong.
Right.
Much like the whole bit around the Hunchback of Notre Dame. You know, it wasn't that he was wrong in any way or bad or evil. It was just that he was misshapen. That he was deemed unworthy of being in society.
Right.
So it was a body horror story.
Well, there's so much of that goes to society, evolution, whatever. It's like, well, I mean, it's fair enough if you think about it. It's like, okay, if you're infected with a virus, then there is you plus one.
Right.
I don't necessarily want to meet that plus one.
Right.
Your virus might be a common cold. We might both get a sneeze and whatever. But you also might be the carrier. You might be type patient zero.
Right.
For whatever it is you're carrying, and
right.
I don't know that.
Yeah.
And so the most casual interaction goes from a forgettable, not even forgettable, but just a completely unremembered experience to a potential experience to a life-ending, world-ending experience,
right?
All in one sneeze,
right? And body horror. A lot of those stories going into even family-friendly films like Mask, Eric Stoltz, and like The Hunchback of Notre Dame. They played into that human's fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
You're different. You're strange. You might get my kids sick. So there was that misunderstanding, that lack of communication that drives those genres forward. The misunderstanding of humanity.
Right. Yeah. Another movie that has some significant body horror scenes that just stick in your fucking mind would be House of a Thousand Corpses. The whole fish boy.
Yeah.
That is just over the top, ridiculous.
I love that movie. I really do. It's I don't know why I dig it so bad.
I love House of a Thousand Corpses. Absolutely love it. Prefer Devil's Rejects. To me, that's the best of the trilogy.
Some people like it more. Yeah.
Technically, you're probably right. I actually enjoy Corpses more.
Okay.
I like that B film atmosphere, the neon, the just obstruction of everything that's coming at
so
you.
So many memorable scenes in that movie.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
yeah. She's singing to him, and the girlfriend gets jealous. She pulls a knife out.
Cut your fucking tits off,
dude. The thing is, we were talking about like.
It was definitely Sherry's best.
There's. It's funny because Rob Zombie to me like jumps his dichotomy because he's a ringmaster for the absurd, but then he also wishes that he made Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And I've spoken about this on the podcast before, but I went to a live speech of Neil Gaiman, the author who made Sandman and Stardust and all these other things. And he said when he was a boy that he wished that that he had written Lord of the Rings. He didn't want to be J.R.R. Tolkien. He didn't want to be a copycat. He wanted to like maybe morph himself back in time, steal a manuscript, submit it, get credited with it, and have been the person who wrote. Rob Zombie wants to have been the person who made Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He doesn't want to change a single microsecond of footage.
Right.
He wants to have his name.
It's an ego thing. That's all it is.
On top of the movie and have made it.
Right.
Not copied it, not plagiarized. He wants to have made that movie.
Right. Alter history from Tobe Hooper to Rob Zombie's.
But he wasn't. He was only a little kid whenever it was made, so it's impossible.
It'll never happen, right?
But he's been trying. He's been chasing that high,
right,
since he was able to, and I respect that. Like, but everything that he's done since Corpses has been chasing Massacre,
trying to find that magic.
Trying to chase, and so like
he's trying too hard.
Yeah,
that's where 31 came from.
That's
where a lot of
there's a lot of
projects.
But I also feel the same thing about Devil's Rejects. It's like, okay, well, what if you were to have a more intimate relationship with the killers in Chainsaw Massacre? They'd just be really dirty, and all of their pores would be dripping sweat, and you could like smell them. And let's get in real nice and deep and dirty with all these fucked up white trash people that's chop people up.
Right.
And it's like, well, we didn't really want to hang out with them. We were actually scared of them. Like those are things that should not be. We don't want to hang out with them. The reason they scared us is because they were the over there people, and you're fucking climbing in their beds. I don't want fleas and murder weirdness on me. I just want to be scared of it from afar.
Well, it's almost like I always talk about. I don't want to know how you made the cake. Just give me the cake.
Give me the cake. Just give me the cake. Yeah, it's a regular trope with some of the modern films is the whole let me see the reason why. I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck.
That's the whole
Jason fell in a lake. Who cares? Michael killed his sister. I don't give a shit. You know, I don't want to know that Jaws was a guppy somewhere.
He got mad.
And toxic waste dripped. I don't care. He was kicked by some kid and decided he was going to eat people. Freddy Krueger, this is the Joker's origin.
So, where are we going now? Boom, I'll let you go ahead and jump.
Dude, let me run. So, one of my favorites out there, and it goes back to the whole Japanese thing, really big in pop culture, and they're really able to capitalize on body horror, is Akira.
Uh-huh.
It's a really great story and really super engaging. The Japanese have with their love of body horror, took the things like Akira and ran with that, just obscene amounts of body change and morphing. They did like Devilman and Prophecy. They're so big into that love of the grotesque.
Yeah, they're fascinated with it.
Just amping it up because it's that thing in the dark.
And it's with several genres, not just horror.
Right,
I mean, you got all the tentacle stuff. You got just within the world of anime itself. They love the overboard. They love just the ridiculous proportions and just everything.
I mean, that goes back. I mean, we were introduced to body horror as children. I mean, every villain on almost every popular cartoon you watched had some sort of body modification, be it due to spell or poison, toxic waste, something. There was the bad guys always had the elongated features, the big hulking shoulders, over elongated fingers, long fangs. You know, He-Man's his cadre of villains were all
He-Man,
misshapen.
like the top end story of He-Man is hilarious because it's all these toy makers
Right.
who are just trying to come up with designs, and somebody came up with a winning design, but then they had a template. So it's like, oh, it's just Tank Man. It's just the
Stinkor.
Yeah, it's the skunk guy. It's the Mechaneck, whatever. But whenever you're trying to write a cohesive story around all of these characters, like a Mechaneck, for example, and if you're not familiar with He-Man, Mechaneck was a Masters of the Universe character that had a
mechanical neck.
His head was mounted on a mechanical neck that when you twisted his body, it would rise up another half body size or a torso size because of a little mechanism in his body.
Right.
But he was a sentient, quasi-human thing that had been given this power by surgery.
Right.
He was transhuman, basically. And so, like, a character like Mechaneck was so fucking stupid because he didn't have the power punch thing where he had the rubber band in either direction. Mechaneck twisted one side and his head popped up.
You can just see real high.
Right. And he was a periscope.
He was a
and so
fucking
he was
periscope.
freaking dumb. But as a character, how horrifying and tragic was that?
Oh, yeah.
Because the mechanism for whatever his neck was went right down his chest cavity and like took out his heart and his lungs and his spleen, his pain, like.
Oh yeah.
And so you get into the other He-Man characters of just different ways that how it's possible that they exist, and you're like, this planet is fucked up.
Oh yeah.
These things are living in hell.
It's Arcane. It's basically Arcane from Swamp Thing, just making a whole bunch of
100%. The robot, that you built, Manny Faces. It's this human machine hybrid that has multiple personalities locked inside with several faces that spin due to how it's feeling in that moment.
Yeah.
So it's angry, or it's feeling more thoughtful, or it's feeling like a monster. It's that the head would flip around and you'd get a completely different face with a whole new personality. And if you think of it as your kid, you're like, wow, this is really cool. But then you do that dumb adult thing where you start hyper-analyzing the situation.
Oh, no.
And you think, God, that is fucked.
I don't think I realized I was recreating many faces when I made Mr. Snookums.
But that's Manny Faces. So yeah, no. So as kids, we're introduced to all of those things very young. Things like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They were fighting these mutants, guys that were genetically tested on becoming part boar and part rhino and morphing into these really terrible creatures.
Scary as hell.
Krang inside, the alien inside of the human cyborg pounding around. It's a brain, a mutated alien brain.
Well, the whole X-Men series.
X-Men.
The whole creation of Wolverine.
Right. Human experimentation.
Yes,
yeah. No, so we were introduced. Body horror is probably one of those things that it's a lot more prevalent than people like to really give it credit for until they really sit down and go, son of a bitch, man, that's fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I had Sam Raimi did the first 3 Spider-Man movies.
Right.
And now my daughter's old enough, she was like, hey, so we let her watch all the new Tom Holland Spider-Mans.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, that's awesome. I need to catch up because she saw the new one that's got the Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. So she's like, I need to catch up. It's like, awesome. So we watched the first Spider-Man. I've never been a fan of Tobey Maguire or Kirsten Dunst. Still fucking good. The original Spider-Man?
No, and Spider-Man 2?
Whew, Spider-Man 2 is amazing.
Alfred Molina just kicking everybody's ass for Dr. Octopus.
But dude, I had forgotten how graphic and descriptive Raimi was because he came from that body horror world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But if you don't remember, it's been a while since you've seen Spider-Man 2, and you're going to go, wait, Spider-Man 2 from like 20 years ago? Yes. Spider-Man 2, there's a computer, there's a on-screen layout of him connecting with the AI arms.
Right, how it attaches to the spine.
And just like out of it's got the yellow, so out of Reanimator, It's got all of these injections into his spine.
Yeah.
This yellow
fluid. It shows it going down the spine,
and it shows each injection.
Yeah.
It shows like not just the needle because it's like.
Yeah. All the way up to the
all the way up
the
to the spine. The thing wakes up and it's got the inhibitor chip and whatever. But no matter what you thought about Doc Ock, he wasn't gonna just walk out of that unchanged. Like if nothing had gone wrong,
right?
He was still morphed into that. Like,
right.
That was part of his.
Oh
body.
No, that's him now. Yeah, 100%.
And I'm super glad that Molina came back and was still just as villainous in the new Spider-Man as he was in the old.
Right.
Oh my God, he was so good.
Right.
He was one of the best movie villains ever. Like I'll put him up there with Thanos just because
he did a great job. Alfred Molina was already a great actor, and then the way they were able to really let him sink into Doc Ock. Raimi's Spider-Man 2 is one of those sequels that when you list like the sequel that's as good, if not possibly better than the original, Spider-Man 2 is hard to beat.
Yeah, I would agree with that for sure. Very, very good movie.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we're about to close out. Okay, so I just want to bring up one of my favorite body horror scenes from my childhood.
Do it.
Because it's also just such a classic actor that was so weird to see in a horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
But Garrett Morris in The Stuff, when his face just starts melting. This was a comedic actor. Saturday Night Live, tons of great fucking comedies back in the 80s. And they made us see it was like Justin Long seeing him suffer. You had to see Garrett Morris's face totally fucking melt. It was absolutely amazing. The stuff was awesome. They used body horror very well in that movie.
Oh yeah. Even though it had the worst opening premise of all fucking time. Just two rednecks standing there, and they look down and they see this white shit on the ground, and one of them's like, "Oh, what's that right there?"
It might taste good.
Dips his finger up and over eat it. What the fuck?
Hey, you got to start somewhere.
You need to jump it off.
I do have to say that when I first I remember seeing the preview for The Stuff, and it was like, oh, hey, some scary shit. Some scary movie coming out. It's yogurt. It's going to get you. And I was like, but I didn't realize it was horror comedy.
It's parody, yeah.
I thought it was supposed to be pure horror. So, like, 12, 13-year-old me was going to be like, okay, well, it certainly had the scares. Like, but it was stupid.
Yeah,
it was Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
It had its moments, but it was.
Yeah.
But then that flip around is those were some scary moments. Like it's like food poisoning. If you ever had food poisoning, you're like, I'm pretty sure it was the sushi, but I'm not sure. It might have been the ice cream, or it could have been fucking some dark horse. It could have been a vegetable that just came out of nowhere and took me out. But the stuff was such that, to this day, I'd probably try a bite because it looks so fucking good.
You can't get it. Dude,
you gotta wonder what they put in that Bluebell.
It looked like whipped cream. Pretty sure they were just eating whipped cream.
But they were so addicted.
Yeah.
It's like
it's Bluebell. It's Bluebell. I'm telling you.
It looks so
like that. How pissed people were when that asshole was going around licking ice cream in the goddamn store.
Oh my God.
That's America right there. We will band together for that.
That was before TikTok. But can you imagine if TikTok would have been around then?
Fuck all, yeah.
Because that was like the Facebook challenge or the MySpace challenge.
I remember seeing that, and I remember thinking, it's like, let me walk down a store, even if I'm not buying ice cream. Let me see some asshole lick the ice cream and put it back. I will go back to county. I will catch an assault for that. I'll call the wife. She'll bail me out happily. Like the cards in the drawer, come get me.
All right. So in closing, I know we left out a bunch of stuff. I mean, we never got around to talking about Hellraiser.
Oof.
There's so many movies that we haven't talked about yet. So find some body horror. If you think of something we left out, let us know.
Mm-hmm.
Leave a comment, holler at us. Because I know we left stuff. I know for a fact we left stuff out. Boom has 2 pages of notes, and we did not go through his 2 pages of notes.
No,
Well, and normally we would have thought this out a little bit and like planned for a double episode, but I've been having such a good time just getting everybody fucking back into the show and like getting the show back rolling. When I told you that the website was like the Millennium Falcon because I had all these outdated plugins and just random bullshit apps that were just I needed them for all of the things that I was doing way back then, but then some of them they're no longer active or whatever. I finally cleaned a lot of that up and got it kind of working back where it should. But man, getting back in and kicking the dust off and like communicating with you and just being like, hey man, what should we talk about? And it's like, I don't know, fucking shark ate a guy yesterday.
fucking the shark had a White Russian.
Right? He was first fucking Big Lebowski shark.
I'm really so if anybody who was involved with that poor gentleman is listening to this, I'm not laughing at his death.
No.
Not that you could see.
Right? No, like, not until like 20 minutes from now.
This is days later anyway, so it's in the past. It's not too soon.
It's been fun, and so we will tighten up a little bit in coming shows.
Because we didn't even get to Thingy Confessions of a Teenage Placenta.
Fuck. Or that movie Teeth about the vagina dentatum.
We may have to revisit this.
So we're gonna see you back in part 2 of 178. No, we'll catch. But we're gonna close down. Hey guys, we are back. We're having a blast. We got Boom. We had Joe last week. We got Boom this week.
We'll get Andy soon.
We're gonna get Andy. We're gonna have Boom on regularly because it just keeps the episodes going. We can turn every episode into a 2-part.
Because I won't shut the fuck up.
No, fuck.
We'll get him talking about Friday the 13th, Part 5.
Woo! Oh, we should do a full episode on that. That would be amazing.
I will do every Friday the 13th.
All right, let's do it. So, if you like what we're doing, let us know. You already have the messages are blowing up. Tell us what show. Like I always text Scott. I'm like, what the fuck are we talking about? And he like hits me back with like 4 different subjects. I'm like, but if there was a subject coming from like out there, and they're like, hey, talk about like fire hydrants.
It'd make it a lot easier.
I guarantee you, an episode on fire hydrants. It might not be that scary, but it would be done.
Make it work.
We can make it work. Anyway, we love you. Have a good time. It's weekend coming up. Keep it scary.
Later.
Yeah, have fun.
Thank you.